On this episode of the Cavalier Connection, we get to talk to former UVA great wide receiver Joe Reed. He will tell us about his time with the Who's and how he became such a special kick returner as well. Also, this week's Mentor's Moment coming up next on the Cavalier Connection. Welcome into this edition of the Cavalier Connection. I'm Jeff, joined by Jack today. How you doing, Jack?
Good. Glad to be here.
Yep. This episode is brought to you by Mensers. So they are your go-to spot for all things UVA. Whether you're looking for the latest Cavalier gear, classic UVA apparel, or the perfect gift for the Wahoo fan in your life, Mensers has you covered. It's cold. And us here in the 757, I know the snow is coming. So check out their warm hoodies and their twill reverse weave sweatshirts, which are especially soft and long-lasting because of how they're made. Hats are great too, like the one I'm wearing here. Any kind of hat you could want. New deals every week with their orange tag sales with a tradition dating back to 1948. They've been outfitting Who's with the best selection of officially licensed merchandise for generations. Visit them on the corner in Charlottesville or the Stonefield Shopping Center, or just go right to Mensers.com to gear up and show your Wahoo pride. That's Mensers.com, where Who's shop. And last night, the Who's lost to the Duke Blue Devils, 80-62, I believe it was.
Yep.
And but we do still have a Mensers moment, and that's exactly what we want to share right now.
Up there high for the block. The land is stolen away by Cooper Flag.
Get it out of here.
Robinson. And Anthony Robinson didn't say, oh, that's Cooper Flag, let me get out of the way. He meets him at the summit. Anthony Robinson going up, attacking that at the top of both of their.
Yeah, that's our Mensers moment right
Incredible.
there. Anthony Robinson. You know, a silly turnover right there that Anthony Robinson did go up and block Cooper Flag. And Corey Alexander said he knew that's Cooper Flag coming. He still went up. There's some guys who will just kind of back out the way. They don't want to be a poster for Cooper Flag, because if Cooper Flag dunks on you, you may be on a poster. If Jeff Lowe dunked on you, you'd probably be on a poster too, because he can't jump. But if it's a random person, this is Cooper Flag here. He went right up and showed his athleticism and dunked on him. But, thanks to Mensers moment. And also we had a winner in our Mensers giveaway. So if you didn't see that, check that out on X. Can you help me, Jack? I've lost my the winner's name. I did want to mention her. You check her out on X. She posted yesterday stating that she was our winner, and shame on me for not just having this ready to go. I'm checking it right now.
It's Marvita Flint.
Yep. Thank you. Congratulations to her for winning the awesome gift basket from Mensers. So thanks to Mensers for providing that. And thanks to everyone who registered and entered. And congratulations to her. So today we have the pleasure of being able to get Joe Reed in here. So former wide receiver, kick return, stud. So that'll be exciting. Jack, what about thoughts from the Duke game last night?
The thought is we were just outmatched. Duke is a better basketball team. Listen, for those of you, I saw the Twitter thread last night about Sanchez and if it's his fault, if it's not his fault. Listen, it's not Sanchez's fault. Okay, You could have Tony Bennett coaching that team, and we still would have lost the way we did, I believe. We're just outmatched. Duke is a good basketball team. Duke is one of the best teams in the country. It's no different than UVA football trying to go up against Notre Dame last season, and we were completely outmatched. That's all. Cooper Flagg, we saw last night, one of the best players in the country, was incredible. They just can't rebound. I mean, we got out-rebounded. They had so many second-chance points, and when you do that, you're not going to win basketball games. And a couple of finishes that we missed, a couple of dunks. I'll tell you what, Saunders got up there. I didn't know he'd get up there like that, and he couldn't finish. Robinson couldn't finish, and a couple of lousy turnovers. I mean, it is as simple as that. Duke's the better basketball team. You move on, and you focus on North Carolina. Saturday's a big one.
Yeah, you can't have the silly turnovers that we had. A couple of them were really silly. You got to make your dunks. Your
a random team. We're talking about the best team in the country. You have no margin for error.
And then at halftime, Cooper Flagg had out-rebounded the whole team by himself. You cannot. You got to go get those balls. So those things were disappointing. I don't put last night on Coach Sanchez. 18-point loss, and that's Duke's average victory. I think they said it last night. Is somewhere 18, 20 points, something like that. Mm-hmm. So nothing different there for Virginia than some of these other teams. I wish we could go back in time and play the Stanfords and the Cals again.
Oh, yeah.
With this team we currently have, because I think you'd see a different result. Stanford just lost to Duke last weekend, I think on Saturday, by 30-plus points. So, and Stanford beat us by like 23. Mm-hmm. So, but I think we're a different team now. We may still go out there and lose, but I think we may look a lot better. So, all right. Tonight we have one of the key cogs from the offense of that 2019 Orange Bowl team and return man extraordinaire, Joe Reed. How are you tonight, Joe?
I'm great. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited.
Yeah, so, Joe, you certainly had a great career at Virginia and made it to the NFL, but let's start with your high school recruitment. How did that go, and what made you come to Virginia?
Yeah, so UVA was my dream school. I tell people all the time that I really didn't have much of a recruiting process because, once they offered me, I pretty much committed. I committed my sophomore year of high school, and I would just go to different camps. I would go to a camp almost every week in the summer here at UVA, whether it's a team camp, whether it's an individual camp, really just showing my athleticism and showing them what I'm capable of. And they offered me, and I committed.
That's awesome.
Nice. So you were part of Bronco's first class, and were you already committed to Coach London, or did you come specifically for Bronco?
Yeah, so I committed to Coach London. And when Coach Mendenhall got the job, he drove to my house, actually, just to honor that commitment. So yeah, I was fully prepared to play for Coach London, and the year so Coach Mendenhall and I got in the same year. Yeah.
Yeah. So that first season, you guys went 2-10, but you had quite a bit of talent. Kurt Benkert played in the NFL a little bit. He had Zacchaeus, who's also still in the NFL. Juan Thornhill, Micah Kaiser, among others. What do you think caused the team to be less successful than you guys had in the years after that?
Yeah, just really piecing everything together. We had more than enough talent, but it took some while for us to gel, for us to really get used to that culture, which was a really good culture. And we lost some games that we should have won. We should have won that Louisville game. That was really exciting. And those are games that my second, third, fourth year we started figuring out how to win. So talent wasn't an issue that year. It was just taking all this talent and putting it together to where we would gel to perform well.
Yeah, brand new coaching staff and that whole deal as well. So I know that makes a difference.
Sure.
So I think your second year, you guys went 6-7, lost in the bowl game to Navy, but you really came on the scene that year returning kicks. And of course, you were going to become an All-American in the return game. What made you so good at returning kicks?
Yeah, so that's actually something that I love doing for as long as I can remember, from being 6 and 7 years old. It was just always something about that part of the game that got me amped up. It got me excited. It's a little bit twisted, but just the idea of running full speed, 11 people who are they have bad intentions.
Oh yeah.
And I got to UVA, and they're, like we said, we had really good talent. So really waiting my turn to shine that receiver and looking for something to do. The opportunity presented itself, and I took it from there.
That's awesome. And then in Coach Mendenhall and your third year, you guys made the big leap to 8-5, winning the bowl game against South Carolina, I believe 28-0. And that was Bryce Perkins' first season when he at Virginia. When he came in, did the vibe change? And did you guys know how special he was going to be?
When he got there, we didn't know initially until we started doing our winter workouts, and he was pretty much winning every single drill. It was like clockwork. He'd finish first, and then either Alameda and I would be a close second every single day. And then as we got closer to spring ball, we also, we saw how much of a leader he was. So I would say it took about a week for us to understand, like, oh, this guy's going to be special, and, he's going to help us out a lot.
Yeah, I think your first game y'all played Richmond that year, I believe. I know I was at the game, and these aren't the best seats in the world, actually, but I think we were on the first row behind.
Yeah, we were in the front row behind the Richmond bench in the visiting corner, right near the visiting corner. And so the first drive of the year, Perkins takes that run 30-some yards right down our sideline, and we're like, he might just have a little something special to him in front of us.
I think at that point, that's when everybody else realized, we had something special.
No doubt.
Yeah, for sure. So ending that 2018 season before the bowl game, that loss to Virginia Tech was especially heartbreaking. What do you remember about that game? And do you think it was a motivation that really led to you guys getting over the hump against Tech in 2019?
For sure. I remember that game just being back and forth. It was a blur. I know that we didn't start off too well. I think it took us maybe over a quarter to score, to move the ball well. But, man, it hurt. That one hurt. And, we told ourselves, especially that senior group that was going in, that we would never experience that feeling again. And, it took a year for us to get our revenge, I guess. But, yeah, that was definitely a motivating game for us. It's another one that we let slip that we shouldn't have. And we just made sure that we were prepared and that we would do everything that we needed to do to win at Scott Stadium.
Yeah. Dad, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah. When you look at where your career started versus where you finished at playing in an Orange Bowl, how do you feel like your class left of lasting legacy?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, my class definitely left UVA football better than how we found it. And it's so fun to just think about all the hard times that we had together, especially our first year into our second year. I mean, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of consistency. It took a lot of us believing in each other. It took a lot of, us going and practicing by ourselves without coaches. And we took pride in it. And, we did our best to kind of pass that down to the boys that were coming up after us. But that's a group of guys that I still talk to. It's funny, as I'm talking, Bryce was calling me, Bryce Perkins, and even Bryce Hall, talking to him. So it was just special, very special.
Tell Bryce we'll send him the link.
I will. I will.
Who were some of your favorite teammates while you were at Virginia?
Oh, for sure, Bryce Perkins, Brenton Nelson, and Jordan Mack. So Brendan and Jordan were actually two of my roommates, and I've talked to both of them today. So they were just guys that they were easy to play with, and we were very similar off the field. That's why we were such good roommates. And every single year, it's like we got closer. That's
cool. Yeah. And I'll say this, my youngest son, I swear, I think you're his favorite player at UVA in the history. He plays that when you were playing with the Chargers, and he had you on Matt, and I don't remember. I think you ended up a commander because he, he's gonna force the trade to bring you in. You're like his favorite guy.
We'll tell him I said, "Hey, please."
Oh yeah,
we'll do. Talking about that locker room, and the culture was just so incredible. Is there any funny locker room stories on or off the field that you can share without getting in trouble?
We might have to circle back on that one. That's going to take some thinking. Most of them might get me in trouble a little bit.
Yeah. So you did go to the NFL draft. What was the NFL combine process like for you?
Yeah, it was very intense. I was in South Florida, and it was my first time experiencing life of only football. I was removed from everything, no class. My teammates were gone, so it was very intense. But I enjoyed it. I met a lot of guys from different schools who I got close with over the course of training, and I played with a couple in the league. And it's an experience that I wish a lot or pretty much all athletes can have, even if they don't make it to the combine or don't get drafted. But just being able to go out and just work out with all those people that are like-minded, it really brings the best out of you.
Did the Chargers give you a feeling they were going to take you, or was that a surprise?
No, very surprised. I thought I would end up in either Chicago or Indianapolis initially. So, but very surprised when I received that phone call.
Did they ask you when you were going in for interviews any crazy questions? I know we always hear about some wild questions to get asked.
No, I didn't have anything crazy because I think my background check was pretty squeaky clean. All my interviews were pretty much just straight to football, watching film, breaking down film. Yeah.
Well, I know that had to make it nice for you.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment where you thought, "Oh my gosh, I've made it"?
Yeah, I did, but I think it was. So I came out in COVID, so I had a really, really unique rookie year. I didn't get to LA until July, which is 3 or 4 months later than usual. And I think my welcome to the league moment, honestly, was when I scored against Jacksonville. I think it was like week 5 or 6, and I mean everything up until then, honestly, was just so weird and out of whack. It's kind of just going through the flow of everything. But at that moment, I felt like I was there.
And we were just thankful to have football.
Yeah.
It had been so rough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so really quick, circling back to 2019, that Virginia Tech game, because we didn't really touch on it fully, that you guys won in Scott Stadium. Can you just talk about what that was like on the field, in the locker room, the celebration? I know Bronco broke the rock and stuff, and just talk about everything that went down with that.
Yeah, so that was a game I can honestly say I felt like we were very, very prepared. It was a game where the energy was right the entire day. We stayed at Boar's Head that day. We had a later game. And so pretty much all day long, the vibes were great. Spirits were high. And, we just connected. Defense played really, really well. Obviously Bryce played well. It helped playing at home because that support meant the most to us. So, it was a game that we felt like we were going to win. We thought we were going to win that game, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. So,
Jack, was that real quick? Was that your first time going on the field, Jack?
That was my first time going on the field. We were there for the FSU game too. We didn't go on the field.
Yeah, that was my favorite game.
FSU game?
FSU.
Yeah, that was for sure. Even over Tech, that was probably my favorite game.
Oh, man. How about that Bryce Perkins 2-point conversion? Probably one of the best quarterback running plays I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we in the Tech game, Jack and my youngest, we all worked our way down to the field. When I was
not the initial rush.
When I was Jack's age, I used to hop the wall and charge the field, and so we went down the hill this time, and that thing was you just trying to get down there without sliding all the way down all the mud.
I'm sure, and it's funny you say that because I honestly don't even remember that moment. Like after the game was over with,
blacked out.
I see pictures all the time, but I just can't even. I think everything happened so fast. I don't even remember like really feeling you all's excitement. Before I knew it, I felt like I was in the locker room.
Well, I had listened to, we had listened to so much trash talk from Virginia Tech fans, and they're always in your ear and texting you, and my God, I let them have it. And I was so excited all them years of frustration.
It was the only time in my lifetime we've beaten Virginia Tech, so take with that what you will.
I know. I'm hoping, I'm hoping we'll have that moment again this year. We're back at home. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's a good little leeway. We were just getting ready to bring up. So do you have any contact with the current UVA team or any of the coaches? Because obviously a year after you were gone, the coaching staff changed, and I don't remember if the guys that were involved in the tragedy and stuff, you knew them personally. But do you have any contact with any of the team now with coaches?
Yeah, so there are a few players that I stay in contact with. I'm actually going on Friday to talk to a few. Yeah, and then Taylor Lamb, Coach Downing, obviously, Coach Elliott. When I'm there, I go see him. Blanda Wolf, he's a big part of my life. So I do stay around. I keep in contact with both players and the coaches. It's always good just to know, what they're thinking and what's going on.
Yes, what would you say is your perspective on Coach Elliott? I'm always very interested from former players or whatever, because I know he's not the most respected amongst the fan base, but a lot of people that are in the program, they really love him. Do you have a perspective on him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with him. I think from experiencing college football, experiencing NFL football, there's no easy way. There's no head coach role. I think what Coach Elliott has done with the tragedy that happened, with the change of college football and college sports in general, the last 4 years has been a lot thrown at him. And, the fact that he still has a locker room, that he still has people who are outside the locker room that want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a great job. And from talking to him and hearing his mindset and, his outlook on everything, he has my full support.
I want him to do well. He's such
we love him so much.
He's such a great guy, and like
so
you
too.
said,
and even what I'm a huge fan of too is what he does for the guys that's not football related, as far as just getting them prepared for life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. So how would you think, if you had to make a prediction, how this year's team will do?
Yeah, I told somebody literally yesterday, I think we're gonna win 10 games. That's
that's my. We hope so.
Yeah, that's my prediction. 10-win season. It's we're gonna build from that and make it normal.
Do you think you missed out on some of that NIL?
Yeah,
that money is flowing right now.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
So we'll win 10 and keep it flowing.
That's
cool. Great transfer portal class and everything for sure.
Yeah. So what's Joe Reed up to these days?
Yeah, so like I said, I moved back in February, and I just started my post-football career as a mortgage loan officer.
Okay.
For a company called Alcoba. So doing that here in Central Virginia, Southside Virginia. I am coaching at St. Anne's Belfield as an assistant coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was fun. Just finished my first year doing that, and that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Do you have any final message for Wahoo Nation?
Yes, I think Wahoo Nation should really just enjoy, everything that we have. I'm big on gratitude. I'm big on support. There's a lot going on right now. I do think that the people in charge are doing the best that they can, and they're doing a great job. I look around and there's still no other school that I'd want to be a part of and want to support. Even watching softball this past week, a lot of my best friends from college played softball, so I've been watching them for a long time, and just believing in Coach Joe and watching that pay off takes time. So I just want Wahoo Nation to sit back and just enjoy it. So we'll be okay.
That's right.
For
Joe,
sure.
we really appreciate your time, and we thank you for coming on and talking to us. We wish you the best of luck in your new post-football career.
Thank you.
And hopefully the Who's have something great. I'm hoping for your 10-win season this year.
I think so. I can feel it coming on.
There we go. I love it.
Sure.
Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you later.
All right, y'all.
Alrighty, we want to thank Joe Reed so much for coming on to the program. Great perspective on that 2019 season. And I was really interested by the NFL draft combine process he was talking about, because you really think about it, all those guys have the same goal. They're all working out for it. Just really interesting insights from Joe. You got any thoughts, Ed?
Yeah, no. Pretty cool. And also he said the Virginia Tech game wasn't even his
I know,
level with the Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
And also how his recruiting process, he wanted to come to Virginia from the start. And, like I know with you probably, I'm sure, but I can speak for Jay and myself when we were kids. If Virginia was an option, that would have been the only option for us. We wouldn't have went anywhere else.
Nope, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, that was really interesting. And then the perspective on the Tech game and everything, phenomenal. Again, I say it all the time on this program. Only time we beat Virginia Tech in my lifetime, so I enjoyed it like it was. Hopefully we'll get back to that soon. I love the idea of a 10-win season. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Sign me up. Sign me up.
That's for sure. That's going to wrap us up for this one, everybody. Be sure to tune in. We have more stuff coming out later this week and more stuff throughout the rest of the basketball season, the offseason. You don't want to miss it. Follow us on the X at Talk UVA Sports. And we'll see you for this one. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos.